Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Samantha and today we're going to be talking about books like we do every day on this channel. More specifically, we are going to be talking about books to read in the fall. So this is going to be my fall recommendations video. Most of these books, last year I definitely went heavy on the long fantasy books, which is always a classic of mine as far as like fall weather. But this year I decided to do a little bit more variety. I actually have some older books on here that I kind of want to talk about. I know that they're like older as far as like the YouTube era, but I still think they hold up really well for wanting to like a fun fall read. I also have some classics and some romance and quite a bit of horror. I'm gonna tell you right off the bat, I think I have one like cozy fall book and the rest are really just like murder, cold weather, dark, gothic, but why not? I'm gonna switch it up a little bit from your normal regime of fall recommendations. Hopefully give you guys some new ideas or a new perspective on what books you can read during the fall. Let's go ahead and get started. I think I want to start with the classics because these fall under romance, and I think that if I start with these and then we'll go to the romance books. First one is going to be Withering Heights by Emily Bront. This book, or Bronte, you'll have to tell me in the comments which one, because there's like an accent on her E in Bronte, but I don't know how to pronounce it, so you'll have to tell me down below. But basically, this is a classic gothic romance. When I say gothic romance, it is very much gothic. The setting in this book takes place in the 1900s on a marsh. There are two estates. It is a gothic romance, so it is dark, it is tragic. We're getting a lot of wintry vibes. We're getting a lot of carriage rides in the dark forest, marshland sort of vibes. This is also like Family Feud, awful horrible people doing awful horrible things to each other, lots of scheming and general fun. So Withering Heights, if you have not read it yet, please do so. It's actually a fairly easy read. Like I said, there's lots of dynamics in this book that make it just intriguing, especially if you're someone who likes to not like characters. This is definitely one of my top favorite classics, by the way. But yes, Withering Heights, if you have not already, please do. The next one I just read this year, and that is Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. This book is about a woman who marries a man who is a widow, goes to his estate, and is just faced with a lot of creepiness. The butler's creepy, the matron is creepy, the house itself is very creepy, the grounds are creepy, there's like this cabin in the middle of the woods, and there's also a lot of mystery surrounding how his wife died and why no one will talk about her, and it gives you kind of ghosty vibes. From page one, this one is just gothic and creepy and weird, and it's good. I personally did not like the ending of this book. I will put a disclaimer on there, but if you want to get into the fall vibes, you want to feel the fall vibes, the creepy, horror-y, ghosty fall vibes, pick this one up for sure. Alright, now that we did the classic romances, I think Rebecca counts as a romance. It might just count as a gothic romance. I believe those are two subgenres. The next one though, however, I'm going to give you cozy fall vibes, and that is going to be Love Light Farms by B.K. Borison, or basically any of the ones in this series because they all are in the same setting. This setting is Gilmore Girls. The characters aren't Gilmore Girls, which I think is why I like it. I personally am not a Gilmore Girl fan, but I like the town setting in these books. These are bantery, quippy. In the town, they do like town meetings like you would have seen in Gilmore Girls. They have like the town square, they have the grouchy old women who kind of tell you what it is. They also have like a phone tree where they call to gossip, and like the top gossip of the town is like the chief of the fire department. Like, it's just amazing. This book specifically is about the owner of a Christmas tree farm, which is just the life, the dream, and her two friends. She fake dates one of her previous friends from way before in order to get a head start on a social media competition, and it kind of just spirals from there. It is very cute, very just fallish, happy, warm vibes. It'll give you those Gilmore Girls needs if you have any cravings for Gilmore Girls. Yeah, I mean, there's like a bakery at her farm. She has like a groundskeeper who's really cute and has tattoos. Her best friend is the baker. Like, it's perfect and I love it. I loved every single book and I highly recommend for this fall. I don't hear enough about it. I don't know why. Okay, let's see, where should we go next? I think we're gonna go with some oldies but goodies as far as YouTube goes. First one being The Diviners by Liba Bray. This is like 1920s speakeasy, New York City, clairvoyant. There's a character in here who's clairvoyant, so we're talking about like ghosts and demons and portals, and the whole vibe is very dark, very gothic, as weird as that is, because this was written in like the 200s. 2013 was when this was written, if not earlier than that. I might have that date wrong. Let's see. When was this? Someone is going to correct me because I know this is a very popular book. 2012. So this was written in 2012. Still gives you like very good gothic horror vibes. Like I said, 1920s clairvoyant, New York City, speakeasy, jazz, creepy ghost demon like things, mystery, murder, fall. All right. We're definitely gonna start getting into like more of like the creepy fall vibes. All right, like I said, I gave you your cozy fall romance read, and now we're gonna dive into that. The next one is also another YA and an older one. This is Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor. I have to tell you, this is probably one that I don't think you're gonna see on a lot of fall recommendation lists, but let me explain. This takes place in Prague. This is about a girl who helps monsters, like literal monsters, like animal monsters. Her best friend, or like her father-like character in this book, is a like minotaur creature. One of her best friends is like a snake-like creature. So it's very intriguing. Angels, demons, portals. This takes, like I said, this takes place in Prague in the winter time. There's like cafes and bars, and it's very cozy as far as that setting goes, but then there's like this fantastical element of these really creepy horror like creatures and magic, like this blood body magic, which is very interesting. The cover definitely does not do it justice. I think the newer covers that came out are a lot more interesting than this one is. It gives it a little bit more like actually what it's about. This is very like early 2000s YA cover, but I would highly recommend these. It is a YA, and it is an older YA, but I don't think that makes it any less of a good fall read. It's very immersive. I just love it. I love it, and I hope everyone reads it. And if you have read it, tell me how much you love it or you don't love it. Okay, enough with that. We are now going from YA to adult, and I think I will start that off with Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. I would recommend this one because it is dark. It is very dark. Make sure you read the trigger warnings for this one. No joke. All right, this one is dark academia fantasy, I think is how the genre would work for this. It does take place at Yale, and our main character is basically a police for the secret society. She is able to see ghosts, talk to ghosts, demons, portals, once again. In this very interesting Yale setting, secret societies, lots of backdoor dealings. She's trying to solve murders, which is always, for the most part, like a really good, like creepy fall thing. Definitely, like I said, read the trigger warnings. Leigh Bardugo took adult and she just ran with it. Drug abuse, sexual abuse. I would say there's blood magic, there's gore, and there's violence in this book, but it does make for a very intriguing ride, a very atmospheric ride, and therefore I think it works really well for the fall season. All right. Next, speaking of dark academia, I read this year. I did a whole vlog on this book this year, The Secret History of Donna Tart. Yes, I understand the hype for this book. If you haven't read it yet, just take this as a sign that you need to go and read it. The OG Dark Academia book. I'm not going to go too far into it because I literally, you can see all of the love I've given this book. I did an entire vlog and book review of this book. So if you want to go see that, you'll have to go check it out below. I am going to say OG Dark Academia. So we're talking small school, in secluded small school Greek tragedy, murder, really richy, elitist, lyrical writing. Yeah, and it's just it takes place on a campus, and it's just cold and fun and atmospheric and dark. And yes, I don't know. I have said more about this book, so if you want me to listen to me rant about this book, you'll have to go check out the vlog. But yes, I loved, yes, okay, haven't read it yet, please read it. One of my best friends did read that book and absolutely hated it, but it was funny because she hated it for all the reasons why I love it, if that makes sense. I loved it that it was like elitist and lyrical, and I loved that I didn't like the characters, and it was very tragic, and it's just stupid. Sometimes it was just so stupid, like rich people problems written all over that book, but I found it to be very fun and entertaining. The next book, since we're going with like a horror creepy vibe, Interview with a Vampire by Anne Rice. I read this last year, and I have to say it is still just, it's good. I can't believe it took me this long to read this book. If you can see all the tabs that I gave this book. If you want a more philosophical book, if you want gay vampires in that philosophical book, if you want the setting of creepy, dark New Orleans with a nightlife and all the things that happen with that nightlife, pick it up. I implore you to pick it up. I know, once again, it is an older book. It is technically a classic, but there's a reason why this is still being adapted and people are still talking about this. We're talking about like humanity and life and immortality and what that all means. God, religion, human belief and human belief systems, and yeah, just like the beauty of life, which is very interesting. I keep on saying interesting. It's just very enrapturing is what I should say. We're talking about morality and all those other fun topics. I really just love the setting of this book as well. I love the characters in this book. Like, you love to hate them. It's fast paced. It's fun. Once again, just like a fun fall vibe, atmospheric. We love that for fall, okay? We need all of the atmospheric, creepy vibes. And then, speaking of creepy, my last but not least recommendation would be Middle Game by Shawnee McGuire. I don't have the cover on this one because this one I keep on a different shelf. But Middle Game by Shawnee McGuire. So, Shawnee McGuire, if you don't know, is an author who is well known for just making very weird books. Weird books that are actually super impactful and intriguing and hooking, and it's honestly mastercraft, right? This book I would categorize more as like a sci-fi horror book. It follows two twins that were born in a lab. I almost said grown, but like born in this lab as a scientific experiment. They both are very strong left or right brained kind of people. One is very good at math, dimensions, which, you know, obviously would catalyst into like maybe time travel or teleporting, stuff like that, right? And then the other twin is very good at words and language, which is intriguing because then you have like this English aspect of manipulating people and using your words to get what you want, and language to portray things that no one would see. Very interesting. I think the biggest like fall vibe I get from this is because it's like secret society, sci-fi, dark, horror-y, creepy science, and mystery and murder, and that apparently makes fall for me this year, and it is the vibe that I am mood reading and recommending to everybody else. So Middle Game, if you want to know more about Middle Game, I'm not gonna lie, Books and Lala, that was one of her favorite books I think in like last 2 years, and she goes really well into depth about it. Shawnee McGuire is probably one of her favorite authors, and that's why I picked it up. Yes, that Shawnee McGuire, if you want an author who writes really good fall, atmospheric, dark, horror-y, it's not a word, horror books, check them out. But that's it. I looked next to me to see if I had any more books, but that is it for today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 books. Like I said, I know that some of them have already made their rounds on YouTube, but I always feel like we can always go for a revival. There's nothing wrong with that. Some classics, because you know that's what I do. No fantasy this time. I guess I take that back. I had one YA fantasy book, but we're mixing it up this year. No long fantasies for you guys. Just a very broad stroke of what fall vibes could be as far as like horror and murder and dark and intriguing and fun. And most of these books are actually quite fun if you allow yourself to have that viewpoint. But that is going to be it today. Thank you for joining me. Hopefully you found some inspiration for your own fall TBR, and I think that's it. I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much. Bye.